What gets you pumped? What makes your dad yell? What sends you on an emotional roller coaster that you choose to ride again and again? Sports. The only exercise you could lose at. The game where we move our bodies, and whoever moves their body the best wins. It's like a fake war between friends, except fewer people die. And the only consequence of this war is that someone's getting sugar water poured on them. But what makes something a sport? Is it the sound of a whistle? Is it the chalkboards with scribbles all over them? Or maybe it's the balls. If you like sports, you know all about balls. Okay, let's just say, if you took the glory of physical labor, mixed it with the magic of Halloween, and drizzled it with nacho cheese, that's a sport. Who are sports for? Well, there's athletes for starters. Anyone, human or animal, can be an athlete. Even women. Look, we're not saying it's for everyone. But if it's for you, you'll know. You're probably hot. And if you're not hot, you're either really tall or really fast. Once you're a certified athlete, you can be an asshole. You can slap your coworker on the butt. You can even get away with murder. You just can't do drugs. That's the biggest foul of all. If you're good enough at sports, they'll make a Disney movie about you that substitute teachers will put on when they don't have a lesson plan. And if you don't play sports, you'll watch them all right. Soccer moms, football dads, wrestling uncles, people who refer to a group of 45, 250-pound men as we. What are you rooting for? It's not exactly a city. It's not a color. It's really just a shirt. You're rooting for a shirt. You watch sports to play cornhole. You play sports to get dad's approval. Can you play and watch sports? Yes. It's called sitting on the bench. And right now, we'd give anything to sit on a bench, to witness the simple pleasure of a coach on the verge of a heart attack and a bunch of 12-year-olds who couldn't care less. In the meantime, there's esports, I guess. Sports. Will you watch or will you play? You'll probably watch. Walls, doors, a roof. These are the building blocks of inside. But imagine a place with nothing holding you down, nothing keeping you in, and you don't have to knock to get there. It's outside. You know it. You've probably even been there a couple of times. It's the place your cat wants to go, and it's the reason you put shoes on. When you go outside, the weather is all around you. It's like ripping off that square glass condom and nature raw. It's the zoo that's free, the theatre you don't need a ticket for, and the wedding locale that will make people say, so rustic. It's where the first people and where the last people will die. They tried to recreate outside, first with desktop wallpapers, then dirt cake, and finally the Rainforest Cafe. But they couldn't quite do it. There will never be another giant, endless snow globe, quite like everyone's favourite. It might seem like there are lots of rules for outside, but it's actually really simple. 1. Use your outside voice when outside. Leave that inside voice where it belongs. 2. Stop and smell the roses every once in a while. And 3. If you're going out there, remember to put your clothes on, or you're going to jail. Outside is open to all levels of experience. You can start with a screened-in porch, work your way up to a gazebo, and soon you'll be riding a horse. Sure, there may be lions, tigers, and clipboard people, but when you go there, you'll feel like you're doing something, even though you're accomplishing nothing. You train your whole life for going outside. Don't you think you could at least crack a window? Outside. Look, there it is. Remember the good old days? Running into people, small talk, the art of laughing at just the right moment, even though you have no idea what the other person said. Things once took for granted, we now long for. Simple turns of phrase like, good to see you, I'll let you go. There's nowhere to go. And most of all, not much. Not much has always been there for you. From the first time your mom said, "What'd you learn in school today?" to that special moment when a girl asked, "What are we?" Not Much has your back. In those moments when your mind is racing with ideas, fears, desires, you gotta bottle that shit up before it spills out. Not Much is the cork that will keep your feelings fresh for weeks to come. Funny, ain't it? We've been using Not Much our whole lives, but we never actually meant it. We'd rush to a job, sneak out at lunch to interview for a new job, go back to the first job, leave to get a root canal, sustain permanent nerve damage, and still tell our friends Not Much at happy hour. But now we do mean it. Sitting on the couch, looking out the window. Not Much is finally our truth. Of course, it doesn't feel quite right to say not much right now. There's far too much. But it'll be waiting for you when this shitstorm ends, and we're back to those golden days of pretending to get a phone call, lying to our loved ones, and giving limp hugs. In the meantime, go ahead and give yourself a limp hug, and repeat after us. Not much. Feels good, don't it? Not much. It's not much, but it's so much more.
Let's face it, there are people who aren't in the same room as you, and you're going to need to talk to them. How will you do it? How will you tell them who you are, what you want, how you feel? Sounds like you need a phone. Phones are anything you want them to be. You can speak with your voice if you're old, or write with pictures if you're young. But that's just the beginning. You can also pretend to listen to your mother, watch porn, take photos of a funny typo, call 911, prank call 911, perform basic mathematics discreetly so people think you're doing it in your head, and so much more. The truth is, phones have come a long way. They started as cans on a string. Then they were hamburgers. And today, phones are meticulously built to be attractive to the human eye. And the best thing about phones now, some of them explode. For only one payment per month for the rest of your life, you too can have a phone. But make sure you have a number first. Phones won't work without a number. What did people do before phones? The answer is nothing. They just sat there, happy. People actually used to be happy. Thank God that's over. One thing's for sure, that phone's not going anywhere. You're probably holding one right now, aren't you? Phones. You're probably holding one right now, aren't you? When you're hungry, you gotta eat. And when it comes to eating, nothing beats food. Food is available in grocery stores, gas stations, and mall kiosks. Food comes in over 4 million varieties, including leftover Chinese takeout, the body of Christ, and soup. It can be crunchy, creamy, or salty. And if you're lucky, it's all three. Food is sustenance, but it's a lot more than that. You can play with it when you're bored, or just smush it around in your mouth for a while. You can even throw it back up. We may not know where food comes from, but no one really cares as long as it tastes okay or is free. And don't forget, if you don't buy food, you will die. Food! Put it in your mouth. Do you hear that noise? Wait, that's not a noise. That's many noises played together on purpose. And those words, they're poetry that people want to listen to. That's the magic of music. If you've been in a grocery store or a doctor's office, you've probably heard music, but it's way more powerful than you'd think. You see, everyone wants to express themselves, but not everyone is talented enough. When you press play on music made by other people, you don't need talent. Music is your expression. It's your personality. It's the coolest thing about you. Just look at all the hot people in your house having a dance party. When you turn on your music, the world listens up, no matter how you play it. iPhone, surround sound, vintage vinyl, animatronic fish. The possibilities are endless, and so are the songs. So many fucking songs. Most of them are bad. Some songs are good, but you'll hate them eventually. And then, 15 years later, you'll like them, ironically. Just let that music play, baby, and give you something to focus on instead of work or your other responsibilities. A minute ago, you were sad about doing meal prep, and look at you now. You're tapping your feet. You can't stop. Or perhaps you're sad about doing meal prep, and you're indulging it with a sad song. Either way, music is your friend. Do you know how to make music? With an instrument? Wow, good for you. Maybe you're an indie boy. Maybe you're a country girl. Maybe you're a whale. No matter what kind of music you make, someone might fuck you someday because of it. Yeah, whales. You know what I'm talking about. Music brings us together. We all have lighters. And that's music to our ears. Music. Noises that sound good.